Welcome to this overview of Jeff Haden's book, The Motivation Myth, subtitled How High Achievers Really Set Themselves Up to Win. The premise of this book is that real, sustainable motivation is a result, not a cause of achievement. And this is more than a theory, because as a self-proclaimed ordinary person, Jeff is sharing what he learned enabled him to lose weight, train, start a successful business, and draw millions of fans to his work. Jeff starts his book by being honest. He has plenty of failures to his name, and deservedly so, because he let go of so many goals without even trying to achieve them once that lightning bolt of enthusiasm from his original idea had worn off. Because he thought motivation was a prerequisite to starting the process. Rather than the truth, motivation is the result of you labouring away, rubbing the two figurative sticks together until the spark strikes and you can start coaxing your campfire into existence. From his work, Jeff has learned one immutable fact: success is the only way for gaining motivation. Not life-changing size success, but the successes that tell you you are on the right track. So the key is to regularly enjoy the small, seemingly minor successes, because success is a process, and it is repeatable and predictable when you do the right things the right way, over and over and over. And it is in this repetition that satisfaction and happiness lie, because the road to a target goal or finish line is filled with countless opportunities to feel good about what you have accomplished each and every day along the way. So how to start when you are zero motivated? No magic bullet, I'm afraid. The best way to get motivated is to break a sweat, literally or figuratively or symbolically. If your goal is getting out of debt, this may be making a plan to pay off the smallest debt so you can feel some progress. And what about procrastination? The key is to enjoy the natural high that comes when you break through all your self-talk of how hard or awful it is going to be and do what you plan to do. And even better, you now feel motivated because action comes before the motivation. But you do have to do the right things in the right order to make real improvements, and that requires debunking some other myths. Myth 1 is shortcuts get you there quicker. Sorry, you can't hack your way to success, or the whole world would have ticked their success box. Yes, definitely look for better ways to do things, but these aren't shortcuts to not having to do the work. Myth 2 is routine is the last resort of the less talented or boring. Again, untrue. Following a process is what gets you to your goal. Embracing the routine is what results in one day realizing you have achieved your goal. Myth 3 is you need other people to support you. Again, no. Research has shown that the more you share and talk about your goal, the less likely you are to do it. This is because you are getting a sense of achievement and validation from the discussion, so are less likely to feel the need to follow through. Myth 4 is you are either born with great willpower or you aren't. Another no. Exceptional willpower isn't something you are born with. People with it have just found a way to make decisions that don't require willpower and determination. And myth 5 is you need to find your passion first. No, often passion comes as a result of getting better at the doing. Myth 6 is winning medals feels good, but winning is just the result of following a process well. The true success is in completing all the steps that got you to the winning line. Okay, you're possibly thinking, but I have started in the past, but I wasn't able to keep up the momentum. The issue might have been your process, as following a process that doesn't yield short-term results is incredibly demotivating. But you may have also fallen prey to the myth of focus, which says that the only way to be a high achiever is to regularly remind, coerce, and torture yourself into putting effort forth. But actually it isn't. There are plenty of everyday things you achieve without any effort, such as arriving at work on time, ensuring you have clean clothes, etc., because you don't have any choice if you don't want the consequences of not doing these things. So an issue only arises when you have two choices that don't have a consequence you don't want, because we are far more likely to choose short-term gratification over long-term payoffs. So how to turn your I want to goal into a I have to task? because when it becomes a task you have to do, you cease to choose the thing which seems so much more alluring at this point in time. The important part of this is the focus on the task, the thing that is just part of your automatic routine, not the goal you are aiming for. For example, going to the gym every day is the thing that is going to achieve the why you're going, not dreaming of that wonderful why. Because the problem with focusing on the outcome we want is the distance between here, where you are, and there, where you want to be. Therefore, your goal should just be informing the process you will implement to get you from here to there. And then care about doing of the task in front of you, just to the point you had set for yourself in the process of moving from here to there. Jeff uses the example of training for a marathon to illustrate this point. If you set yourself the task of running 1 mile today, that is all you have to do to tick this task as done. Jeff shares that this also addresses 2 essential truths. None of us receives enough positive feedback, and each of us is our own worst critic, because feedback is essentially some form of comparison, and we have expectations of what we should be doing. And by focusing on the process task, we are ticking off done and confirming to ourselves we are on the right track, which creates a self-reinforcing feedback loop. So how to create your process? Set your goal, the outcome you want to achieve. Set aside decision anxiety and choose a reasonably promising routine, because looking for the best routine will just take you down a rabbit hole of wondering if there is something better. If necessary, customize your process to be extremely specific. For example, if you were getting ready to run a marathon, rather than saying you're going jogging, you need to say what days, how far, and how fast, etc., because a good process tells you precisely what you need to accomplish at every step along the way. Rework your schedule to ensure you can reliably work your process. And map out your daily plan. This is taking your plan and putting it on a calendar. Then work the process. Okay, it may not be exactly what you planned, but see it through the best you can and then congratulate yourself for having done it. But don't compare yourself to other people. The only thing that matters is consistently working your plan. Fix your schedule problems, because no matter how hard we try to predict the future, it often doesn't work out in practice, and fixing our schedule problems ensures we remain focused on our process. Your results may vary, so adapt accordingly, with the things that increase the likelihood of ultimate success, but this step shouldn't occur until you can evaluate real results rather than assuming what isn't working. Jeff advises the magic words for staying on track are I don't, because I don't changes how you see yourself. For example, I don't eat chocolate reinforces you don't eat chocolate, whereas I can't eat chocolate sets up a feeling of denying yourself. It also means you can't make excuses to yourself, and you will come across as more confident. Which raises the issue of willpower, which actually requires more of a process than greater willpower. To do this, start with your mindset. Let your past inform your future, but don't let it define your future. Yes, learn from your mistakes, but then let them go. See your life and your future as within your control. Learn to ignore the things you have no control over. Don't just aim for tenacity, aim for adaptability. You won't always succeed, but aim for growth, and then you will find you become more resilient and adaptable. Don't resent. Celebrate the successes of others. There is more than enough to go around. Resist the temptation to complain, criticize, or whine. Your words have power, especially over you. Harping about your problems always makes you feel worse, not better. And count your blessings. Imagine what it would be like if you lost all you have. You'll be grateful for what you've got. And in a practical sense, eliminate as many choices as possible so you reduce the chance of being distracted from what you're trying to achieve. Make decisions tonight so you won't need to make them tomorrow. That also means you're more likely to make smarter choices. Do the hardest things you need to do first, as you have the greatest amount of mental energy. Refuel often. The brain doesn't stop working, but when glucose levels are low, your brain stops doing some things, like paying attention to long-term goals, and starts doing others, such as responding to immediate rewards. Create reminders of your long-term goals because it is too easy on a day-to-day basis to rationalize doing less than your best. And remove temptation altogether because that eliminates the need for willpower. And remember that sinking feeling you get in the pit of your stomach when you've passed through this is a great idea point into this is what I need to do stage. It is just telling you you're on track. So to quote Jeff, don't wait for motivation. Get started. Work your plan. This is a very easy to read book, written with a dry wit and lots of stories, examples, and explanations, as well as additional topics such as why you should ignore SMART goal setting, make your goals benefit you on several levels, and be a serial achiever. Plus a lot about process, including the process for building greater relationships and having productive days, weeks, and mindsets. Who this book is for is basically summed up by the dedication, which reads, "To everyone who hasn't achieved their dreams yet." And in case a "yeah but" crept into your thinking, Jeff also reminds us, we don't have to wait until we can find more time. We have all the time we need. We don't need to wait until we can find the money. Money never drives success. We definitely don't need to wait until we have the motivation. We just have to start where we are with what we have and allow the resulting motivation to take us to the next thing we have to do, and then rinse and repeat. Thank you for viewing this video. Please like and subscribe and click on the notification bell if you would like to know when more book overviews are uploaded.